than a pocket notebook.
Okay.
But I'm going to want to know at your house, George, what exactly is convincing you that your place is haunted. And I'm going to listen to you.
Do you stay there?
This guy's an asshole.
You stay there?
Not George, he's not a
When I
guest.
can, I do spend the night. I've
Shut the
stayed in
fuck
some of
up.
America's most
Going to become the Walmart of weed.
You shut
We
the
would
fuck
need
up,
to start
too.
sourcing these products direct.
There's too much shit people say. I'm gonna talk about hate. So, I'm gonna give you a chance to go away. You understand? I'm gonna go make a coffee. I'm gonna make a coffee and give you a chance to go away. Go away. This song is about the Montauk project. Gonna talk about the Montauk project. BrookHaven, Long Island, New Jersey. The Archdiocese of Newark, Archdiocese.
I'm Preston B. Nichols, author. This video is based upon a real experience that happened to me personally in the verified that it is Preston of the future. He has my DNA, my fingerprints, and he has intimate knowledge of me.
Do you want me to introduce him?
You can.
Hey, what's up? I'm Baby Brown, and this is my good friend Luke, and this is my new single, Children. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buildings come crumbling right to the ground, and I can't help noticing when I'm looking around, windows can't see them, too many lies, we won't be taking it, look 'em right in the eyes, oh, if I had my way, I'd give everything I have, to make everything okay, keep walking with me, oh, if I had my way, I'd give everything I have, to make everything okay, hey, hey, singing when we got this falls and kills the light, don't surrender, be alright, rules blow up like dynamite, and the children keep on singing, darkness falls and kills the light, don't surrender, be alright, and the sun's like flying kites, and the children keep on singing. Walking down Penny Lane, one pot of gold. Follow the rainbow to the end of the road, Still got me nothing but broke. They say it's funny, I'm not getting the joke, Oh, if I had my way, I'd give everything I have, to make everything okay, keep walking with me. If I had my way, I'd give everything I have, to make everything okay, hey, hey, singing when the darkness falls and kills the light, don't surrender, be alright, blues blow up like dynamite, and the children keep on singing, darkness falls and kills the light, don't surrender, be alright, and the sun's like flying kites, and the children keep on singing, and the children keep on singing, and the children keep, yeah, the children keep on singing, and the children keep, and the children keep on singing, and the children keep, and the children keep on singing, and the children keep on singing.
I have to move this close. I'm gonna talk.
Katie and I love to shop. Well, mostly window shop. She means we're thorough. She means we're bargain hunters. Exactly. But my sister Kelly showed me an article that made me change a really bad habit. Just wanting us to do what's right. You see, at one time, I just couldn't stay away from those bargain knockoffs. You know, the handbags and scarves sold on the street. Counterfeit merchandise. Ooh, make it sound so illegal. Well, it is stealing. Ouch. I wouldn't steal, I didn't realize that this sort of stealing can lead to more Americans losing their jobs. So, no more buying pigs and knockoffs.
Oh, Father, help us here. Father God. Father God who is in the sun. Father God, I know you're in the sun. I have to go. This is so... Oh, the moon is tonight. July 4th. What is this now? It's 2 o'clock now? Why doesn't that ever show up? Let's see what the news is.
The birthday party, including thunder over New York City. That is the Macy's fireworks show over the Hudson River. We hit the beach, the barbecue, and we marked Independence Day in Washington with America's newest citizens.
25 active duty service members from 17 different countries are now American citizens.
I take this obligation freely.
Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano leading the oath of allegiance. President Obama saying the American dream should be open to all.
That's why, as another step forward, we're lifting the shadow of deportation from deserving young people who were brought to this country as children.
That executive order drawing sharp criticism from Republicans. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News Radio.
Mitt Romney took part in a 4th of July parade in Wolfboro, New Hampshire.
You've made it a fabulous and a wonderful day for me. Let's celebrate this 4th of July in a great way with our families.
Do you know that Mormons believe that blacks are the spawn of Satan? Mitt Romney, he's a Mormon. He believes blacks are the spawn of Satan. Blacks can't be a priest and nothing with Mormons. It's quoted under in 1978. They did some little cover-up in that church. Yeah.
There will be a race like no other at the London Olympics. Oscar Pistorius, who is a double amputee, known as Blade Runner, will compete in the games, the 1600-meter relay and the 400 meters. Pistorius of South Africa is the Olympics' first amputee track athlete, born without a fibula in both legs. His artificial limbs are made of carbon fiber.
Transhumanism.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Transhumanism, Biggs, Boson, Olsen.
Connected to Fox News Radio for your favorite talk show, newscasts on the hour and half hour, and the podcasts that take you a step deep.
All right. I hope everybody's gone from this video except the most worst. You have to be very high to come where I'm going to go right now. It's hard to even go there. It's very high. See, when you go to high levels, they're quanta. Quantum. It's a quantum leap from quantum. Quanta. And in the quantum state, when you look at something, you change it. Oh, before I forget, you have to know how really powerful meditation, and you can be and are. Alright? Let me just say this to you. I bet you very few of you believe that you can make something move by looking at it over there in the chair or something, make the pillow move or this or the pencil. I bet you very few believe you can do that. But if you understand quantum physics and observation, so like right now I'm changing you. And we're in a different time, a different media, and everything, man. So we're in the Quanta zone. And it's torsion. Let me get close. Where was it going? What was I saying? Looking at it. We're changing it. You're changing it. Oh, you're changing. This is it. Understand the smallest particle, subatomic level that you can or whatever. When you look at something and your consciousness, or whether its consciousness received your signal or your energy and absorbed it and is changed in some matter. Step it up. Who can now step it up to think if you can move an atom, you can move a couple of them? Can faith move mountains? That other, what is it, The Secret of Attraction? That secret movie where they told the law of attraction? It's kind of just a little piece of the law, you know. You don't have to be like in love or have good thoughts to make that law work. I can make that law work differently, and I can move mountains, and I can look into the sun. I'm going to leave it there. You should learn to look into the light. You know that? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. If I can show you this. No, I can't show it to you too good here. I can't do that tonight. Learn to look into the light, though. The sunlight. With this extraordinary sunlight, I think it's a special code. If you want to learn eye graze and sun grazing, alright, here, let me tell you. Why are you getting into this? This is technique and practice. Here's the secret, though. You've been coded to blink into the light. Those prophylactic eye drops at birth as a Nazi plot. You can research what happened to Dr. Bates in the 1920s and 30s. The Nazis were in America a long time, you know. The Nazis started the American Medical Association. Oh, research Dr. Bates, you'll find out. Dr. Bates would all use a magnifying glass and shine the light in people's eye. I all look at the sun at different levels, all with binoculars, okay? Sometimes I use my naked eye if it's low, or sunglasses, or a welding glass. But here's for just plain eye grazing. Let's stay focus. Plain eye grazing. You look at the sun, and you get it on the fat white part of the eye, so you roll your eye up or you roll it down. You can hold it down and just easy get it that way. That's to charge up the white part of the eye. Different now is the more serious grazing when you look into the light and you look for codes. I can't get into all of it now, but you don't want to look in the brightest light, so you do morning light or evening light to start. You do one eye at a time. I really train my right eye for the light. I don't really train this one. You want to keep it from blinking, so when you look in the light, lightly put your fingers up when you look and hold the eye open and just get it to adjust. It will adjust. You won't go blind. You'll get a few tears. Take a break. You can put your head down, close your eyes, and just let it absorb. And do it easy. Get a little pattern. I don't like to look two eyes into the bright sun, but sometimes you do. When you use two eyes, you get a lot of current going back, and you can overload back there. That's the eye grazing. What are we talking about now? I don't want to talk about that. The dimensions? What am I doing down here? Low frequency, multi-dimension. I wanted to get into the computer model to let you understand being in the machine, how you get programmed. What is a program? What is a subroutine? What is computer language? When you go between languages, the protocol and how you pass arguments, how you call a subroutine and how you pass arguments to that subroutine, parameters that define its existence, how you define internal memory, what type of memories are shared, what's transient. I talked before about daemons, D-A-E-M-O-N-S. You're the boss inside the machine. When you're the boss, most of you is not a boss yet. When you're a boss inside the machine, you know the overseer. The overseer is controlling the controller. There are secret things inside the overseer, like the kernel. Okay? Leave that. You got the overseer. When he needs to do something different and spawn a task, he spawns a daemon, like a demon, and just throws it off there like that. So when you tell a lie, he spawns a daemon to watch and protect in case someone's going to pierce that lie. But really the concept is multitasking. Multitasking in the computer. Okay? In the old days, the first days of computers, you didn't have multitasking. The concept of multitasking in the old days of computers, guess what it was? You're not going to guess. I'll give you a chance. Guess what it was?
Now, back to spontaneous combustion. Yeah, spontaneous combustion. Human combustion. A sort of non-explanation for cases like I described. People badly burned, no apparent source of ignition. But modern science has finally begun to have an idea. Let me give very briefly a typical case. Mary Reeser, St. Petersburg, Florida, 1951, I believe. And Mrs. Reeser was last seen, healthy and alive and sitting in a stuffed chair, and some hours later, workmen were alerted, broke in, and
What were we talking about? Oh, the computers. Alright, in the old day, the way the computer worked was the way kind of we worked in the old days. You had night and day. In the daytime, you just collected data on big tapes or punched cards. And in the nighttime, so in the day you would collect it and the operators would put it in the machine. You didn't have all the stuff back then, you know. I don't know if you know about JCL punch cards, where you had to punch holes in the card. You had to punch 80 holes. Like you have to type in a text message. You had to punch holes in the card for each letter, different height for each letter. And you had 80 columns on a card, so you could do 80 letters on each card, and the cards were that big. Okay? A card this big for 80 characters, and you get, what, 140 in a tweet? So, you would have to collect all these cards in the day and process data in the daytime, and everyone was working on the machines. And then at nighttime, you would run the programs. You'd have, hardly anyone would be there at nighttime, just the computer operator, and the system would run. And you'd have it set up, you know, it was a system. And you have all the data on the machine, and then it's quiet, and then the system comes in and takes all the data and puts it into the database and makes all the relationships and sees what's good and puts out the bad files, and sometimes it blows up. You get we call it an abend, an abnormal end, and you get a code sometimes. And you get a dump. So you know, you had these big monolithic machines, and they couldn't switch tasks, you know. That concept of switching memory, which I'll get into in a second, and paging out memory, which puts you into a thrashing condition when you multitask too much. We'll get there. We didn't have that in the old days. You had batch processing in daytime. And that's the way you are coded. You're coded to go to sleep, you know. Don't think, look, I have to curse, you know. And I have to get to the hatrage part of this. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. What do I have to curse about? The hatrage. What the fuck we talking about? I should write this. What do we do? Fuck. Oh, what are we talking? Multitasking? Before the multitasking, the batch processing, the memory. Oh, sleep code. Yeah, sleep code. They don't want me to talk about sleep code. Let me tell you, you're coded. They code us for sleep. You think, you know you sleep and you're not really tired sometimes, but this sleep code is on us when you have to sleep, and then all of a sudden, and you don't remember what happened. I'll tell you what happens. Around the base of your, around the neck back here, inside around those nerves, your brainstem, like a sprinkler collar is back there with things pointing up. And it sprays some shit on whatever hormone, I don't know what it is, or coke, on our nerves back there, like shh, and we knock. Alright, so that's the computer model. You understand we're going being in the machine. Get the fuck out of here. Yep. Alright, so that's the old model. You have the nighttime and daytime mode. Now we're in this zone, right? Whatever you want to, this state. That's what I like to call it, a state. We're not going nowhere. We're in a state. And we'll always be in some state. direction implies a lot of things which is maybe a false concept, you know. I think that's why they made all these nation states, to fuck up the word state, because state is a great understanding, to just understand us as being in some state, understanding our state as humans, the human state. Alright, so you have newer computers. In the old days, big room, air conditioning, you heard of them stories, to do little thing, whatever. It would cost $100 million, and what you can get for $500 now. Alright. You went from big IBM mainframes. In the beginning, the business was called DP, data processing. Then it became EDP, electronic data processing. Then it became IS, information systems. Then it became MIS, management information systems. I'm in like the 80s now, crossing into the 80s. Then it becomes IT, into the 80s and whatever. Your IT or whatever you are now, I don't know. So, around the 70s to 80s, memory machines, technology, whatever the aliens, whoever you want to call it, things become more, smaller, different people, and you got super mini computers. DEC, Tandem, Prime, Stratus. These machines were like big fridges. And a couple of guys would usually program it, or girls in there sometimes. But it was became a lot of accessible in universities and stuff. And you had a lot of C programmers and Unix come alive on these machines. That's where I think maybe it was invented, when those machines got around and guys could do things themselves out of the jacket and necktie, you know. That's why C is a hacker's language. It's the birth on the machines in those times. Alright, so then people code the operating system. That's what runs the hardware and connects things. And then, so you have an operating system like DOS. In the big machines, IBM was MVS and OS, and OS operating system, and MVS was multiple virtual. That's when you started to get into the concept of multitasking. Here's what multitasking is. When you're doing a lot of things, a lot of different programs at the same time. Like, in the old days, you would just do one thing at a time, kinda. You could do more than one at a time, but you'd really, for the most part, had a more sequential, serial flow of events. Not real time. You had daytime and then nighttime. So your data, sometimes it would even be more. So you might do something, it may not get posted for a week, or at least to the next day, whatever. Now you have these new machines, new memory, everyone's doing, you're doing real time. Real-time processing. You're accessing, you're holding the database in memory, or the access to that database is being locked in memory so you can share it with other users. You're processing in data, updating the database at the same time, going back, processing more data, answering questions, queries, doing reports all at the same time. That's multitasking. You can have 1,000 queries coming in at the same time. But here's the joke, people. You can only do one thing at a time. You hear me? You can only do one thing at a time. One thing. That's how the computer works. Okay, now they're going to tell you about dual core and different CPU and whatever. Fine. Let's just talk paradigms in certain state to give you understanding in the machine to relate to your own paradigm. I'm giving you computer internals from the big machine, how it works, because we kind of work the same way as the computer, you know, reveal secrets. So we'll get into multitasking. What you call multidimensional? What do you call dimensional? What you call dimensional, I can call emotional multitasking. Yes. Where you place yourself in the consciousness of the overseer to the actual subroutine that's processing that particular emotion at that state, or that knows the state of the emotions for that day or that life or whatever. Multitask. Let me stay with this. Okay, here's what happens in the machine. Let me give you these concepts. You have time slices and priorities. Okay? So let's say you have 10 jobs that want to do work, right? The computer's spinning and it gives you a microsecond or a couple of microseconds. Then it takes it back control, and then it gives him a couple of microseconds, take back control. Then it gives him. Really fast, you know. Like whatever gigahertz, you know, is like billions of times, whatever times a second, whatever. It's all make-believe land, so. That's the time slice. Now what happens is, when you get your time slice, you have to go get your memory and pick it back up. Your memory has been paged out. It has been taken out of RAM, random access memory, and put to disk, or some temporary place in between there that can actually be both. Let's just call it, it's paged out. And your neighbor's memory is now brought in, and we're working on your neighbor's memory and his task. Now his time slice is out, we put his memory down, we go to the next neighbor and start to cut his lawn. We cut it 2 times, his time is up, we got to put the lawnmower down, we got to go next door, pick up his memory. So as you cycle, you have to pick up your memory, you have to get ready to work in the computer, do your work, your time's up, put your memory back, next guy goes. Alright? And now you can get different time slices depending on priority and all that stuff. So here's what to understand, people. There's maintenance and administration a lot in that time cycle. And every time you have to put down your memory and pick it back up, it's a lot of work depending on what you're doing. So like if you have your computer processing video and it's stressing out the machine, and you go to do your email and different things, you see how it gets slow and sloppy. Because it has to page out a big thing and come back. Now, where society and we are now, because there's so much inputs, TV, all these edits, we're gone. Computer can't process this, so we are in the condition of thrashing. We look busy. We click and we like this and we click on our Facebook likes. Give the slaves another bonus ball. Okay, so thrashing is when you're in the computer and you're giving out the time slice, but all people can do is get ready to work and then their time is up. And they have to put back the memory, next guy. So you're going around, everyone's picking up their memory and getting ready to work, and then they got to put it down. And you're going around faster and faster, no work is getting done. You can tie that in, that's multitasking, where you start to page out memory too much. It's called paging, when you have to go from random access memory and page it out to disk. And That's thrashing, when you go too busy and nobody's getting anything done. And I was an expert in that. You have to know the balance, how to run the machine hot to maintain the balance. If you go too far, you get nothing done, and sometimes it crashes. Sometimes you have to crash the machine if it gets stuck. So you can tie that into attention deficit. It's all the same thing, you know. It's a machine and too much process there. Oh, fuck. I didn't even know what I wanted to talk about hatrage. This looks like it's going to be long. This freaking camera doesn't even tell me how long I've been taking. I didn't get to talk about what I wanted to talk about, and I think this is too long already.
You're listening to News Radio 1290 WJNO. Positive outcome. Make it affordable is a free government program. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov and do something about your mortgage. Brought to you by the U.S.
Summer should be a time of exploration and a chance to learn and grow. Making new friends, getting outdoors, and enjoying camping and ASBC.org to learn more.
What? Another leak? When it comes to leaking information, man, we shower you with info at the top and 30 minutes past the hour. Hey, Bo, the dog. No, Bo. News Radio 1290. Now we got another leak. WJNO. Fox News
Radio Line's Steve Rappaport. A tragic end to a 4th of July gathering of family and friends along the Iowa River.
We received a couple 911 calls regarding some children that had gone missing in the Iowa River. After about 2.5 hours of searching, we located the 3 children, all in the water, deceased.
Marshalltown Police Chief Mike Tupper. The victims are related, all between the ages of 7 and 9. Will today be the day the lights finally come back on?
There are still 1 million power customers in the Mid-Atlantic, even the Midwest, who have been going without electric service since a swath of storms swiped these states on Friday. It means people are sitting through record heat in much of these affected areas. Temperatures have been north of 100 degrees.
Fox News Radio's Evan Brown. Steve Nash leaving the desert and bound for the beach. The Phoenix Suns reportedly trading the 2-time MVP to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Everybody gone now? Our state on, I guess you would say the 3D level, is greatly governed by our emotional state, which I think most of us is in a one zone with that, and think we need to be in a peace zone or this zone. But the fact is, we have this multi-zone emotional state. And when we go into different emotions, it can put us into different dimensions. We go into different dimensions all the time. Even when we remember something. When we use words in the past tense or the future tense, that pulls us into a different dimension, those words. Those words can also influence our emotional state, which then pushes us further. The fuck is that? What is that, Rambo? No, don't come up. What is that? Don't come up here. Some big moon. I don't like the moon, you know. I tell you, oh, Montauk project. This video must be too long. I don't even know how this is. Am I going to get to Montauk project? I don't think I can. I know about Montauk project. I know too much about Preston Nichols and frequency phase conjugation, and like jumping through frequency spectrum so you don't understand it, and breaking code. I know too much about breaking code, you know. I know too much about breaking code. I know too much about the Jesuits and the Shin Bet and the conspiracy. Over 1,000 years, you know. We're in a conspiracy which is over 2,000 years, you know. Yeah. In Montauk, BrookHaven, they'll fuck you up. If you want to know if you were there, you'll have a mark. If you think you were there, you'll have a mark. You'll have a mark at the base here, right back there, at the base of your backbone where it goes to like the crack in your buttocks there, the bottom of that bone where it goes right there. You'll have a mark there. And you will know how to shape your hatrage. If you was at Montauk, BrookHaven, to a higher or lower level, you will know how to shape your hate. Now, as far as training goes, you see with this emotional state, we like to say we're peaceful. But the fact is, shit happens. And you go into different state, and you bump up against other people with other state. Now the states to get a bump, should they war? Or can you have a different order when states bump? I follow my king's order, which is to use a Christian spirit between states for guidance. So how do you maintain goodwill? Because the thing is, things are going to happen. People are going to scream. People are going to feel sad and cry. Other people are going to know other things about what happened and see lies and get mad about different things. That is life where we're at, how we handle it. Okay? These things are real. How we handle the intersection of all these bubbles. We have to get an order very quickly and a protocol. You can't have confusion all the time. There's too much. That each time this happens, it creates universe of a different thing, and it's pressure in all the magnetosphere and everything right now. We need to go into a healing phase with all the ionosphere and magnetosphere and all this energy of thought energy. The higher consciousness is thought energy, and we have too much different whatever. And just have a peace, have a truce. We need a truce on a high level. Some type of truce. Like a truce between God and Satan. Or something. Because actually what the Bible predicts is a truce, you know. God commands Satan to go away for 1,000 years, and Satan is compelled to go. You'd say it's victory or compromise or treaty. Nothing is ever equal. There's never any equal, especially when you get into wars and battles, whatever. There's always some type of a compromise. Satan certainly has had his run and his victory for 2,000 years or more. 5,000 it looked like to me. Because this conspiracy goes back. Me personally, I can't trust any book except the one that is written in here. I use a lot of technique, and I use book, and I use people, and heights, and nature, and everything, and guidance, and protection, and natural, and music, and everything, and smoke, and everything. But I can't trust anything in this world. I see the news is fake differently, so much less the printed material, and much less the old things, 'cause I see how they mess up things. And I see a lot of suspicious code. Even this code about circumcision is very suspicious to me. Circumcision code. That doesn't make sense to me. If that's supposed to be how you know somebody, I don't know. Like what, back in them days, if somebody walks into a village and they don't know what they say, show me your dick? The time to know our Creator is within ourselves and without ourselves, in direct contact. That's why I encourage you to look into the sun, learn to look into the light, and get the light in your eye and charge up. I could go